Hello, my name is Jill Haney. I'm a former reading teacher and national reading consultant. I currently serve as Director of Reading for PCI Educational Publishing. I have just co-authored the PCI Reading Program with two other educators, Janie Haugen-McLean and Janie Holt. The PCI Reading Program is a research-based visual discrimination program for students with developmental disabilities and students with significant learning differences. The program teaches students to automatically recognize and read 140 sight words and commonly used nouns and verbs. Carefully controlled lessons, activities, and books ensure that students never encounter a word they don't already know. As a result, students grow in confidence word by word and book by book. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to Level 1 of the PCI Reading Program. Level 1 is intended for true non-readers and students for whom traditional core reading programs have not worked. There are 3 prerequisites for participation. Students must be able to follow simple one-sentence directions. They must be able to respond to a teacher question or directive verbally or by pointing, and they must be able to discriminate between words. Students do not need to know the alphabet or letter sounds to use this program. The effectiveness of the PCI Reading Program relies on 2 basic principles: guaranteed success through repetition and review, and motivation through positive reinforcement and frequent reading opportunities. Every word a student learns is practiced more than 100 times in a variety of contexts and activities using visual, auditory, and tactile reinforcement techniques. In addition, students are praised for every word recognition and reading success. This praise instills self-confidence and motivates students to keep reading. The program includes 28 books with age-appropriate illustrations and contemporary storylines about the everyday lives of 3 adolescent characters. Your students will want to read these engaging books again and again. As educators, my co-authors and I know how hard it can be to find the time and resources to truly individualize instruction. So we made this program extremely easy to use. Once you learn the 5 basic steps of the lesson cycle, you're home free. Each program component works the same way for each word taught. Cues are provided as a reminder of what to say to the student, and the guided word practice lessons are fully scripted. The program is designed for maximum flexibility and can be used by a teacher, paraprofessional, or classroom volunteer. Progress charts and checklists make assessing and monitoring progress a breeze. There is even a building reading skills binder with supplemental lesson plans and activities for students who need additional practice in visual discrimination and other pre-reading skills before beginning the program. Level 1 teaches 140 sight words and real-world words. Students read 1 word at a time in a structured step-by-step system and read the first book after learning just 5 words. Hands-on activities throughout the lesson cycle make the learning fun and promote short and long-term word retention. Let's go through the 5 basic steps of the lesson cycle. Step 1 is learn a new word. To learn the word, a student completes 4 different activities. First, the word is introduced in a word-building lesson. The student identifies, repeats, and reads the new word as well as previously learned words. All lessons are available in print and software formats, so you can choose the best medium for your student. The next activity utilizes the Trace and Read workbook. The student traces the new word and then reads it within the context of a phrase or sentence. Some phrases and sentences include pictures. Once the student has mastered the first 2 activities, it is time for guided word practice. A scripted lesson plan helps you guide the student to build and read phrases and sentences using word cards and picture cards. Next, the student reads additional phrases and sentences on the Read Aloud page. Finally, the student participates in oral language activities that bring real-world meaning to each new word. Every 10th lesson includes a comprehension-based matching activity called Match on the Mat. To finish Step 1 of the lesson cycle, the student completes 2 activity sheets for each word. Both visual discrimination and comprehension activities are provided. Step 2 is repeat Step 1 to learn 4 more words. In order to facilitate early reading, students learn 5 words at a time, 1 word after another. For each of the 5 words, all 4 parts of Step 1 must be completed before moving on in the program. Step 3 is review. At each 5-word interval, the student reviews the newly learned words and up to 15 previously learned words through an easy-to-play game called the Word Game. This activity allows the student to interact with other classmates while preparing to take the post-test. Immediately after the review, a post-test is administered to assess both short and long-term retention. The test covers the 5 newly learned words and up to 15 previously learned words. Students may take the post-test in print or software format. The PCI Reading Program makes it possible for a student to read a book after learning just 5 words. That is because the vocabulary has been controlled to include only words that the student has already learned. On the first page of each book is a list of the 5 newly learned words. Realistic full-color illustrations support each page of text. As the student progresses through the program, sentence length increases, as does the number of sentences per page and the number of pages per book. After each book is completed, the 5-step lesson cycle begins again. 5 more words, 1 word at a time. Successful, independent reading, word by word and book by book. Your order of the Level 1 PCI Reading Program includes everything you or someone under your direction will need to implement the program. The materials are delivered in an attractive box built for classroom display and easy storage. The entire program is available for under $600. PCI has a long history of producing high-quality, hands-on, age-appropriate instructional materials for students with special needs. For years, our customers have been asking for a contemporary life skills-based reading program for true non-readers. The PCI Reading Program delivers this unique reading solution right to your classroom. Level 1 will take a student approximately 1 year to complete. Levels 2 and 3 of the PCI Reading Program are currently in development. Level 2 will teach 140 additional words, as well as common inflectional endings such as S and ing. Level 3 will use some of the basic patterns of the words taught in the first 2 levels to teach word recognition strategies, bridging students to greater reading independence. The PCI Reading Program can make a dream come true for your non-reading students and is a solid investment in their future. Order the PCI Reading Program for your school or district today. You'll be amazed at the results.